Hello everyone, I am John Loses, and today we're going to talk about how language takes place on the theories. So, without further ado, let's get started. So first, what is language? Language is the primary method of human communication, but there are also other ways to communicate without the use of language. When asked to define language, we tend to think of a verbal and written system in which certain sounds and symbols come together in a specific way to convey meaning. Language in its most complex form is unique to humans, although some animals have been found to have basic communication patterns. And what are the major theories about language acquisition? The most well-known theory about language acquisition is the nativist theory, which suggests that we are born with something in our genes that allows us to learn language. Although no physical language organ exists in the brain, language acquisition can be hampered if certain parts of the brain are damaged during critical periods of language development. Another way to look at language learning is to treat it like learning a new skill, the learning theory. The learning theory of language acquisition suggests that children learn a language much like they learn to tie their shoes or show to count, through repetition and reinforcement. When babies first learn to babble, parents and guardians smile, coo, and hug them for this behavior. As they grow older, children are praised for speaking properly and corrected when they speak. Thus, language arises from stimuli and similar response. While it's logical, it fails to explain how new words or phrases come about, since children are only parroting the things they have heard from mothers. Let's talk about the theory of second language acquisition. The theory of second language acquisition is a widely known and well-accepted theory of second language acquisition, which has had a large impact in all areas of second language research and teaching. Krashen's theory of second language acquisition consists of 5 main hypotheses, which are the acquisition learning hypothesis, the monitor hypothesis, the input hypothesis, the affective filter hypothesis, and the natural order hypothesis. The acquisition learning distinction is the most fundamental of the 5 hypotheses in Krashen's theory and the most widely known among linguists and language teachers. According to Krashen, there are 2 independent systems of foreign language performance: the acquired system and the learned system. The acquired system or acquisition is the product of a subconscious process very similar to the process children undergo when they acquire the first language. Second, the monitor hypothesis. The monitor hypothesis explains the relationship between acquisition and learning and defines the influence of the latter on the former. The monitoring function is the practical result of the learned grammar according to Krashen. The acquisition system is the utterance initiator, while the learning system performs the role of the monitor or the editor. The monitor acts in a planning, editing, and correcting function when their specific conditions aren't met. Third, the input hypothesis. The input hypothesis is Krashen's attempt to explain the learning acquires a second language, how second language acquisition takes place. The input hypothesis is only concerned with acquisition, not learning. According to this hypothesis, the learner improves and progresses along the natural order when he or she receives second language input that is one step beyond his/her current stage of linguistic competence. Fourth is the affective filter hypothesis. Affective filter hypothesis embodies Krashen's view that a number of affective variables play a facilitative but non-causal role in a second language acquisition. These variables include motivation, self-confidence, anxiety, and personality traits. And the last one is the interaction hypothesis. Interaction hypothesis proposes the language acquisition is strongly facilitated by the use of the target language in interaction. Similarly to Krashen's input hypothesis, the interaction hypothesis claims that comprehensible input is important for language learning. In addition, it claims that the effectiveness of comprehensible input is greatly increased when learners have to negotiate for meaning.